Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and turn on the notification button so you know when there are new uploads. Today we're going to be talking about the differences between Spain and the US. So the first difference that you notice when you come to Spain is how people greet each other. So the traditional greeting is to give 2 kisses just like that. It's a bit strange because in the US we're not used to getting so close like that. The kisses aren't like these big, wet, slobbery kisses on another person's face. No, they're usually more like you're touching cheek to cheek. That's how you say hello in Spain and how you say goodbye. The next thing that's a bit different from the US is the schedule. In Spain, they eat lunch super late and lunch is the biggest meal of the day. In the US, we're used to eating lunch at noon or even earlier. Sometimes people eat at 11:30. 2-hour lunch is probably very typical in Spain if you're with family or friends. There's usually no rush to get out of the restaurant or to move from the table. You kind of just relax, spend time with family, and you might even stay hanging out at the table until like 6 p.m. Now, this isn't what you do normally during the weekday. This would probably be more common during the weekend or on a holiday if people have the day off. Another difference is that dinner is usually at 10 p.m. It's crazy because sometimes you're like, what the heck, like I should be in bed by now. Not everyone follows these rules. Sometimes I don't. I mean, these aren't rules. These are just customs in Spain. In Madrid city, because it's very cosmopolitan and many people come and visit, there will be restaurants that are open all hours of the day and you can easily eat at whatever time you want. It's not like these are set rules that you need to follow or else you're not going to eat. For example, some restaurants though might be open from the morning until like 4ish and then they might close and reopen at 8. So it's good to know if you're traveling or living in Madrid what to expect. Not only restaurants will follow the schedule, but also stores might not be open during that lunch hour and then it'll reopen again at like 5 p.m. until 8 or 9 or whatever. And the reason why is because of something called siesta. Siesta in English means nap time. So people are going home, taking a nap, chilling, watching TV, then they will go back to work usually at 5 p.m. Another thing that's different are like the indoor markets that we have here. They're very common in big cities like Madrid and Barcelona, where you'll have this big warehouse type market that has a bunch of different stands where you can buy your groceries. At these stands, you go to a guy, he'll tell you, okay, what do you want? And you tell him, oh, I want a kilo of mushrooms or a kilo of chicken breast or whatever you want. Picks the things out, he wraps them up for you, he weighs it for you, and you pay for it. Okay, another thing that is really different in Spain than in the US is the nightlife. Oh my gosh, people love coming here for the nightlife because I mean, it's just like party all the time. You've always got days off and all that stuff. So it's very fun. People don't start going out till like 2 a.m. Going out to a club, you know, waiting in the lines, getting your first drink, like all that at 2 a.m. People go out super late and then they party until 7 a.m. Another thing is weather. People just immediately think, oh, you live in Spain. Oh my gosh, you probably go to the beach every day. No, okay? It depends totally on where you are. I live in Madrid, which is right in the center of the peninsula. So there's no beach around, but different parts of Spain have different weather. So in the north, it's very cloudy and rainy and cold and windy, kind of like English weather, UK weather. You'll get snow there. Actually, there's mountains there. In the south, it's a little bit more warmer. You're closer to northern Africa, so it's warm. Then you have the islands around Spain, probably like 60 degrees all year round. So it's really different. In Madrid, where I live, you have all seasons. You You really do. So if you're coming, you know, in fall or winter even, like plan on bringing a coat. If you're here throughout summer, be prepared because it's super, super hot. It's dry heat, not really a lot of rain, not a lot of wind. Like it is hot like a desert. It's almost 100 degrees every single day. A lot of things will be closed because it'll just be too hot. A lot of apartments don't have air conditioning. It gets hot in summer. Oh my God. Like last year was my first summer and I couldn't believe it. It was crazy. Another thing to know about Spain is that the level of English is very low. Older generation, like people from their 30s, 40s and up, like they're not gonna know any English. They might know it, but just they will not want to speak it with you. For example, at the bank, setting up an account could be difficult. If you have to do any sort of like paperwork, complicated paperwork, that could be difficult for you as well. Although they are starting to incorporate more English into the public transportation system, like the metro or the underground subway, whatever you want to call it, putting a lot of the signs now in English on the buses as well. If you're just visiting and that doesn't bother you, then okay. But if you're planning on living here or staying for a long period of time, like a couple months, study abroad, maybe you want to practice a little bit of Spanish or know some basics before you come. Another thing I want to talk about is the food. I love Spanish food. A lot of people say it's kind of like the same thing. I think it's only tapas, which tapas are like mini appetizers. Anywhere along the ocean, you'll find really good seafood. That's where you'll find some of the best paellas in Valencia, which is like Spanish rice with seafood. In the center of the country, you'll find like really good meat. And it's pretty standard in that sense. It's not always just tapas. Madrid has their own foods that are kind of like Madrid culture, such as like churros with chocolate, which are just plain churros, and you dip them into really dark chocolate, and that's super yummy, super traditional. You also have cocido, which is like a Madrid stew that has boiled meats, chickpeas, cabbage, and it's like your typical like really hearty stew that people eat a lot during the winter. You also have callos a la madrileña, which is tripe stew, which I don't like that. But it's like the stomachs of the cow and the intestines and the tongue and like all the innards of a cow made into like this spicy stew. So yeah, if you want to try that when you come to Madrid. Beer, cañas, which I don't know the measurement of a caña, but they're like kind of like smaller beers. And then you've got the doble, which is the doble of a caña. Usually in bars, if you order an alcoholic drink like a beer or a glass of wine, they put a tapa, like a free tapa with the alcoholic beverage, which is super nice. Living in Spain is actually quite cheap. You can get a bedroom in a shared apartment in a decent area, I would say for about like 500 euros. A studio or even like a 1-bedroom apartment would probably be around 1,000 a month. It's definitely cheaper in comparison to the US. You're living in a city, you're not like living outside. If you do your research, you can find something. Another thing that really surprised me about Madrid when I came here was how active the people are. People are always walking around, bike riding, rollerblading at all hours of the day. You see a lot of young people and a lot of old people who are just super, super active and always moving. I'm from the outside area of Chicago. Usually you go everywhere by car. You're not really walking a lot. You know, for some people you might live in cities, so this might not be anything surprising to you. It's really motivating because it just makes you want to just like walk around and be outside. I think that's another reason that makes Spain so interesting, because people really appreciate that time they get to just be outside, you know, enjoying time with family and friends, not constantly working. Having a social life is very, very important. So that's definitely something that's super attractive. That is it, guys. Those are the main things that I think make Spain different from the US. Those are just like some of the immediate things maybe you'll notice if you're planning on living here for a long time, or you've got plans to move here, Or maybe you're just visiting. When you come here, see if you can spend your time here like a local would. So thank you so much for watching my video. Feel free to give this a like or add any comments, any questions you have about living in Spain. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye!